Pete's happy that winter's finally over. Still, winter's damage is done and has left Pete's yard withered and weak. But Pete knows all he needs is Scott's Turf Builder Lawn Food. It greens and thickens lawns to help crowd out weeds. Guaranteed. Just 2 simple feedings, one now and one later this spring. So Pete can easily take his grass from hungry to healthy. This is a Scott's Yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Lawn Food today.
Banana split for my baby.
We're back on What's Cooking Today, the nation's food, wine, restaurant, travel, and entertainment show. Michael Horn, Eric Hines. A note here, prisoners in Washington State, they're using these at the Airway Heights Correction Center in Washington State. 50 inmates, 7 prisons in the state of Washington. They're revamping beekeeping programs in the Washington State area through the Department of Corrections. They're helping out about 30 hives that contain about 60,000 honeybees being cared for by the inmates. The idea, it helps the incarcerated prisoners to a project, giving them skills that they could prove useful beyond the 4 walls of the prison. And it helps the bees because the colony collapse has been threatening the honeybee population, and they're protecting the bees. So there's a positive thought for your weekend edition here on the What's Cooking Today show. Where are we headed, Eric Hines?
Yeah, right now we're going to talk with author of Will It Skillet? It's 53 irresistible and unexpected recipes to make in a cast iron skillet. Daniel Shumski is on the line. I have a cast iron skillet at home, and I hardly ever use it, and hopefully I can get some more use out of it with this. So, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to be here.
Good to be. Daniel's a writer and an editor. He's written for just about everybody. Washington Post, the LA Times, Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune. He's got the first book was Will It Waffle? 53 irresistible and unexpected recipes to make in a waffle iron. Now you've got this one out. What are you doing here with Will It Skillet? 53 irresistible and unexpected recipes to make in a cast iron skillet. Why are we bringing that back?
So I'm trying to show that people, have a lot of history built up in their skillets. Sometimes it was passed down from another generation, let's say, but they may also have a narrow view of what the skillet is good for. And Will It Skillet is all about showing how versatile the cast iron skillet is.
So how versatile? Give us some ideas of things you can make in an iron skillet.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the book, there are recipes for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. So we're talking about things like mac and cheese. You can make risotto in there. You can do lasagna, and you can do desserts. You can do something like a giant chocolate chip skillet cookie.
All right, can you do, it's National Coffee Cake Day. Could you do a coffee cake in a skillet?
Yeah, I don't see why not. There's a recipe in the book for a chocolate cake, and one of the things that I was really trying to do when I wrote Will It Skillet was encourage people not only to make the recipes in the book, but to adapt some of their, family or favorite recipes to make in cast iron skillet.
You got also the recipe I noticed in there, giant chocolate chip skillet cookie. What's that all about?
So this is great because one of the things about the cast iron skillet that I love is that you can use it on the stovetop or the oven. And the giant chocolate chip skillet cookie starts on the stovetop where you might melt the butter, and then you put the other ingredients in there and mix them up, and then you pop that into the oven, and it turns out warm and gooey and delicious, and you don't have a pile of dishes at the end of it.
And you got the chocolate cake you mentioned, the layered crepe torte with dark chocolate and raspberry jam. Sounds delicious. Well, let's go to some basics here. I think a seared ribeye steak with some skillet sauce would be great. You got some steaks going in there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a seared ribeye steak recipe in the book, and it really, again, takes advantage of the fact that the cast iron skillet can really hold high heat. So you can put it on the stovetop and get a really nice sear on a steak.
You did, your Will It Waffle was your first book with a waffle iron, and again an iron. Now you got the iron skillet. What's the attraction? Did you learn in the family and your background baking things and making things in skillets?
Yeah, well, my mom had a cast iron skillet, and she was always using it, and so I sort of developed that habit too. But I really love the idea of taking the skillet and using it for unexpected things. And so that's one of the things I tried to do with Will It Skillet, was to show how versatile the skillet is.
You know, your mom had a cast iron skillet. My dad had a cast iron stomach, but that's a whole other story. Someone told me you can reheat pizza, that you shouldn't, everybody says, oh, we got to eat the pizza fresh, but you can reheat it by putting it like in a skillet and just heating it from the bottom. And then you also have a recipe for a deep dish pizza you can make in a skillet, fresh. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. So the deep dish pizza recipe is great because you don't have to have, say, a special pizza pan. You can just take advantage of the depth of the skillet to make a really delicious deep dish pizza right in the skillet.
Yeah, well, Chef Jeff on our staff is salivating, and he loves bacon. And I noticed here also in your book, you've got bacon potato skillet bread. Tell me about that.
So this is something, yeah, exactly. So this is something where you can take the bread dough, and what you're essentially doing is rolling out the potatoes into the dough and the bacon into the dough so that when you cook the dough on the skillet, on the stovetop, you end up with a nice flatbread that has bacon and potatoes, bites of each of those things in the bread.
Daniel Shumski is our guest. He's the author of a book out, a new one called Will It Skillet, WILLIT, 53 irresistible and unexpected recipes to make in a cast iron skillet. I'm getting excited by talking to him here. What about this charred tomato salsa? Charred tomato salsa. How's that go to? What's that like?
So this is great because this, again, takes advantage of the ability of cast iron to withstand some really high heat. So here you take the tomatoes and put them in the skillet and then broil them until they get a little bit of char on them, which really helps develop the flavor. And then you take those skillet roasted tomatoes and the other vegetables in there and blend them all up to make a charred tomato salsa.
This is good stuff. Where can we get the book, Daniel Shumski? It's called Will It Skillet, 53 Irresistible and Unexpected Recipes to Make in a Cast Iron Skillet. Is that at bookstores everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Head to your local bookstore or look for Will It Skillet online.
Do you have a website?
People can go to willitskillet.com.
Willitskillet.com, WILLITSKILLET.com. French toasted waffles, sausage cheddar broccoli strata, bacon potato skillet bread, peanut and tofu skillet, paella, all this and more for you. Check it out. Thank you so much for being with us, Daniel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915